Not only do we have Wolf and Chip here to talk guitars and gear, but we're actually going to unveil, or I guess officially, unofficially, talk about the SA-126. And we got the creator and the guy that's probably been road testing these for months and months. So guys, kind of take it away. Talk about the relationship, where you started. I know that, I've seen your guys' performances, I'd say the Kimmel, other performances live where you had the 335. So has a similar kind of vibe, but I'm sure it's very different. So just talk to us about everything.
Yeah, I think the main thing was, when I started doing this was that I wanted to find my own sort of sound and not just kind of just do everything Dad did.
Yeah.
Sure, we'll get into the amps later and stuff, but like when it came to the guitar, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I just knew I didn't want to sound exactly. I wanted to sound like myself. Mm-hmm. And through just kind of recording and having fun, I ended up tracking with a 335, and that sort of hollow body sound ended up being what sort of became the base for all of Mammoth. And so it was really since then that it was like, want to make something that has the DNA of the EVH brand, but something that it doesn't offer.
Yeah.
That's more my speed. I don't know, because it's 335s are great, but it's like their necks are like a baseball bat, and it doesn't really lend itself to playing fast and sort of what the brand is known for, sort of performance sort of guitars. And so this is kind of the merging of that classic warm hollow body tone with the performance aspect that the brand is known for.
Now, Chip, how did you take what he is associated with Mammoth and the sound that's been created in that first album, the 335 that we spoke about, and create it into a silhouette that's still familiar with the brand and kind of what the EVH brand has been bringing to the people for years now?
Well, it started with some sketches, some renderings. God, we've been at this one for about a year now.
Yeah,
it developed a long thing.
And it was so frustrating because so many people were like, you need to play something in the brand. It's like, dude, I'm working on it.
We're working on it.
Like,
Can't talk about it yet, No, but there was a lot of back and forth, a lot of tweaks. I mean, how many times did the headstock shape change?
Yeah. It's
right before they went out on this leg of the tour, I was up at 5150 shaving the necks a little bit thinner and getting them all, because I think we started out with 3 different neck shapes. Just to
and then we kind of landed on basically like the thinnest the neck would let us go.
And then the others had to match it. So we did that recently, and it's a work in progress. And like I was saying with Ronnie, this is just kind of what we've always done with EVH, is we come up with something, we tweak it, and see if it survives.
If anything, it's sort of an extension from our exploration with the bass by making the Wolfgang body a bit bigger.
Yeah.
Except in this case, it's making it a hollow body.
Mm-hmm. And talked about, like, I know that Kevin, the publicist that's off camera that helped facilitate this interview, talked about there's some Easter eggs in terms of design and some call outs with the headstock. Obviously with the fret markers, you have the alluding, I'm assuming, to Mammoth with the. But can you talk to us about that?
From every angle, it's a W, it's an E, it's an M.
So that's a cool call out.
I think the biggest thing is that people don't really realize that the F hole is really an E hole.
There it is. Yeah. Right there.
Well, the name itself, I think what I love about the name so much is that anybody who could just read it and not really think much, that's just the designation, but it's Dad's birthday, so.
Yeah, so that's such a cool way to, not only bring something new to the EVH brand, but also continue its legacy in terms of where it started.
Exactly.
There has to be some common familiarity.
And I'm sorry to cut you off, Chip, but what is going on here between these 3? These are 3 iterations, or like 1, 2, and 3 in terms of prototypes, or what makes these so different?
This was the first one.
Okay.
Yep.
That was the very first one.
That was the very first one, and you can see on this one we moved the jack.
Yeah.
That's where it used to be. Now it's on top like the other 2. It used to have regular strap buttons, but now we're back to the way it should be. But yeah, this was the first one. I think when you first got it, it just had an oil finish, and
it was
just raw wood. It was just raw wood. So I took it back, just put lacquer on it, so it would have something on it during.
And it really made the front just look incredible.
Yeah, it brought the top to life for sure. So yeah, just thin coat of lacquer on it to so it just wouldn't get stained up and messed up and be unstable on the tour.
Anything obviously I see between these two quickly is the one has the pickup covers removed. Is that the only thing different, or is there different voicings or pickups that you've tried out through the various prototypes?
We did try different levels of heat on these pickups, but remarkably, it's the lower heat that really brings these things to life. I mean, this isn't, you know, a monster screaming
Yeah, I feel
high
like
output pickup.
any more heat, it'd just be screaming the whole time. You wouldn't be able to control it.
And one thing we noticed when, you know, we were doing the sound testing up at 5150 is that it got so hi-fi once we started dialing that heat back, and it just, whereas the previous instruments were kind of a narrow focus, plugging these in right after it.
It had such a wide you know, breadth of
it was very noticeable right off the bat. We knew we were onto something. We didn't put covers on that one just to lend to the vibe of it. And because of that, the pickups are a little bit closer to the strings, and I think that one's probably got a hair more sizzle to it.
Yeah. Okay. I know Matt's always like, play this one the most.
Yeah.
And I just love it just because it's the, on the last Van Halen tour, Dad's main was a white relic. And so I wanted it to be that color. And Chip obviously did a
I gotta
phenomenal
admit,
job.
it was emotional and felt great to do that one. It kind of felt like a full circle kind of moment for me.
Yeah, I mean, just look at all that. Look how good. You put it in the freezer for how long?
A couple days to get it to do that. Yeah, because it's a very thin coat, and it just kind of evolved to that, and we had to get the checking and everything. So, but yeah, much like the tour relic that your pop played, and like I said, it meant a lot to me to paint this one in that vein.
That's such a cool experience, you know, to have that type of continuation, the bridging the gap, and pushing it forward, but also still paying, you know, homage to the past.
Indeed.
Now, I don't want to put you guys on the spot because you're the player and you're the designer and the marketing guys are marketing, but do we know anything about like if that's going to be available to the public, or is that kind of just a special thing for Wolf?
It's all very much still
up in the air.
We're, as my dad would call it, we're in the crash testing phase right now, you know, and I think there's no, I mean, obviously we want to bring this to everybody, but in the capacity and color and what that will be, I don't think is decided yet.
Gotcha.
But I think that was ultimately the test is just coming out with these and seeing what people think, and people have been just super stoked on socials about them. It's been really cool to see everybody's
hands on them.
To see everybody's thoughts on them.
I gotta admit, I was glued to social media in the first few shows, seeing all the comments pour in about, you know, what is that? What is that? Oh my God.
Yeah, so it's people have been really excited about it, so that's got us excited to really get it out to everybody.
And to not to belabor the point, but Chip, is there anything we should know about itty bitty specs in terms of scale length, tuners, anything like that, hardware, in terms of what you're using?
It's a work in process. We're really growing attached to this big harmonica bridge. That mass tends to really help this guitar quite a bit.
Okay.
The scale length is 24 3/4 at the moment. That could change. I mean, I almost hate to call out specs because we're crash testing. It's evolving. We've already got a small list of things that we're going to change. You know,
just to check out and see how we can tighten stuff up. So,
but it's getting there.